Our family knows firsthand how truly compelling television comes from real people.
The Kardashian clan is famous for a number of things. One of the most notable is their Keeping Up with the Kardashians reality show, but another thing that's gotten almost as much attention is their celebrity relationships. The Kardashians have dated a lot of other celebrities, and in this video, we're going to look at their partners that have come from the NBA specifically.
But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple.
Rashaad McCants has a decent amount of fame for a basketball player who didn't make it in the NBA, but that fame isn't really related to any sort of on-the-court reasons, for the most part. McCants seems to have a knack for controversy, as he landed himself in the middle of that before he even entered the NBA. Thanks to his role in the North Carolina Basketball Academy scandal, the allegations state that the University of North Carolina, where McCants played and won a national championship, intentionally gave bogus classes with athletes so that they would remain academically eligible and graduate. McCants is one of the first people to come public about these allegations, which arguably hurt the shooting guard's career greatly as he moved on from the University of North Carolina into the NBA. He was selected with the 14th pick overall by the Minnesota Timberwolves, but would only end up playing about 3 seasons with the team without ever achieving any good stats. McCants claims that after he was traded to the Sacramento Kings, he realized he was being blackballed. No other team seemed interested in reaching out and taking a chance on him. Once his career was out the door in Sacramento, McCants claimed that it was because he said something which started the academic scandal in North Carolina. He also says that it cost him his relationship with his college head coach Roy Williams and with the school, which is understandably so, as North Carolina hasn't wanted to do much with the McCants story after he came public and added to a scandal which would eventually threaten the university's regional accreditation. This accreditation is a big deal, of course, and without it, the university wouldn't be able to receive federal funds. Its degrees would have also taken a hit in the eyes of employers had the university lost its accreditation, meaning the move would have been a national level story that would have also been a big problem for the university. However, McCants is also known for something else that doesn't exactly have to do with his scandal at all. In fact, this also had a negative effect on his career, according to McCants, and that is his relationship with Khloe Kardashian. McCants was one of the earlier basketball players to date a member of the Kardashian clan. The celebrity relationship was a public one, and largely before the rise of social media would make this into a normal aspect of sports. Before other players had dated Kardashians, McCants did it, but claims to have directly suffered as a result. McCants stated that without making the relationship public, he would have been a $60 million player. However, the added attention attracted by the relationship also brought added doubters and even questions as to how committed McCants was to really being a professional basketball player. This would end up leading him to not performing as well as his potential, nor to the standards of other players drafted around his position, the 14th pick overall. After all, Danny Granger and Gerald Green were drafted not long after him in that 2005 draft, and Granger would go on to have a good amount of success with the Pacers, while Gerald Green is still playing in the league today. With controversy surrounding him because of the North Carolina situation, and his numbers not as good as they could have been thanks to the so-called Kardashian curse, McCants wasn't able to find another NBA team after moving on from the Sacramento Kings. He would, however, play overseas, and in the Big Three League, he'd have far more success with the latter. His relationship with Khloe was reported to have only lasted 7 months, ending due to cheating on his part. Chris Humphries. Another player that was selected with the 14th overall pick in the NBA draft was Chris Humphries. Humphries came out of college for the 2004 draft 1 year before Rashaad McCants would, and played in the league between 2004 and 2017 for a number of teams. While he was rarely a leading player on any of those teams, he was still good enough to hang around the league during that time period as a role player. But for those who follow celebrity news, Humphries might be most notable for something that doesn't have to do with his basketball skills at all. That's because Humphries married Kim Kardashian long before Kanye West did. The couple began dating in October 2010, and they would get engaged in May the following year, with the wedding being hyped up immensely before it happened. Just like LeBron announced his decision to play for the Heat with an ill-fated TV special, this ill-fated marriage included a 2-part special on the E! network leading up to it. The wedding itself was also broadcast on the network, but despite all the coverage and hype surrounding it, the marriage itself didn't last very long. Humphries and Kardashian just didn't work out as a couple, and it would soon be revealed enough that Kardashian had filed for divorce only 72 days after the wedding happened. This, of course, had led to some rumors flying around that the wedding might not have been as authentic as reported, and that all of it could have been part of a publicity stunt in order to drive viewers to the E! Network's coverage of it. It's really hard to tell whether that's the truth or not, because even after all this time, there haven't been that many further statements about what happened. Kardashian did open up about it in 2017, however, and attributed the wedding to feeling like she was getting old and like she needed to get married because her friends had already done so. She also claims that as soon as the honeymoon kicked off, it wasn't going to work out. As for Humphries, he came on the record saying that the relationship was real to him, but that he can only speak for himself, of course. He admitted in a blog post with the Players Tribune that he was naive about how much his life would change and that the very public breakup between the couple was brutal to go through. James Harden. One player to suffer from the fabled Kardashian curse is James Harden, the biggest basketball player in Houston right now that Russell Westbrook is out of town. Harden is another player that dated Khloe Kardashian after her divorce from Lamar Odom. Khloe had, of course, married Odom and changed her last name to reflect the marriage, becoming Khloe Kardashian Odom. But the marriage itself would be unsuccessful, and Harden became Khloe's next ball-playing partner. They would not last as a couple either. However, it's said that Harden is the one behind the breakup. Harden went on the record with Sports Illustrated and called the year that they dated the worst year of his life. The problem wasn't necessarily with Khloe herself, however, but rather with the added spotlight that comes with dating a Kardashian. While Harden's a major star in the NBA, he stated that he doesn't like the added attention, and he also stated that he wasn't getting anything out of the relationship, and that all it was doing was putting his name and face out there even more. Harden called much of the attention, such as the paparazzi taking pictures of him simply driving or going out to eat, unnecessary. It's said that Harden suffered from the Kardashian curse when it comes to play on the basketball court as well, because he would improve to an MVP level of performance in the subsequent time following the breakup. Khloe has since told her own version of why they didn't work out and states that Harden pushed for a committed relationship while not being committed himself. The world may never know the truth and which version of events is more accurate, given that both of them have since moved on entirely by now. Blake Griffin. The Kardashians have a big presence in Los Angeles, and some of the basketball players they've dated have played for one of the two teams in that city. In the case of Kendall Jenner, she dated LA Clippers star Blake Griffin before Griffin's move to his current team, Detroit. This relationship wasn't without its drama, and that drama would be one of the supporting factors in why it didn't work out in the end. Specifically, Griffin was sued by his ex, former USC basketball player Brian Cameron, who stated that Griffin had abandoned her and their two children to be able to be with more famous Jenner. Jenner's name being brought into the lawsuit is said to be one of the factors that played into their eventual breakup. As for whether or not the Kardashian curse also applies to Kendall Jenner, it's worth noting that Griffin's career declined around this time as well. The Clippers picked up a reputation as a choking team when it came to the playoffs, and eventually decided that they needed to move on from the Blake Griffin era, trading him to Detroit along with two other players in exchange for 3 players from the Pistons. This would be the end of the relationship between Griffin and Jenner, as Jenner allegedly didn't want to pursue a long-term relationship and chose to break up with him, with Griffin no longer being in the LA area. Devin Booker. One of the more recent addition to Kendall Jenner's list of partners is Devin Booker, who's one of the top scorers in the NBA and an All-Star in 2020. It's hard to tell just what the official relationship status between the couple is, but we do know that they took a road trip in Los Angeles back in April. They made an 8-hour trip from Los Angeles to Sedona in Booker's Mercedes-Benz, a car worth $250,000. This one does have some drama surrounding it because Booker is rumored to be the ex of Jordan Woods, Kylie Jenner's former best friend. After the first reports about the vacation came out, Woods took to Twitter to post a trio of trash can emojis before deleting the tweet. Supposedly, the two met through having a similar social circle, but it doesn't look like their relationship is too serious at the moment, or at least, even if it is, it hasn't been made public yet. It's reported by Us Weekly that the two are just having fun together, but they aren't really super serious. It wouldn't be the first first time that Jenner has had a relationship like this with a rising NBA star, as she was also said to have a decently similar one with Sixers star Ben Simmons, a top pick in the 2016 NBA draft.